Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to a place called South Roke near Alton in Hampshire. Now tonight I've got one of the toughest sessions that I've probably ever done. I'm not quite sure how tough it will be tonight. 6x200, a bit of a tune-up for a 5k on Tuesday. Back in the day I did this in 25 each on the track and I felt so awful. Had to lie down for about an hour afterwards, so much lactic. So hopefully it won't be quite so bad today. I don't think I'll be going anywhere near as fast, but anyway, it's a nice little tune-up. I think I've identified just a fractionally little downhill bit here. So I think I'll just do this first one, see how I feel, and then warm into it. Matt said not to do the first one too hard. But I've done a 4-mile warm-up because I wanted to make sure I'm fully warmed up. So I think I just need to do a few strides now just to get into this before I hit these.
Shoes of choice are the Puma Fast-R Nitro Elite 3s.
These are the ones I think I'll be wearing on the 5k on Tuesday because I had a good return in them in the 5-mile race. So yeah, see how we go in there. It's either them or the Street Fly 2, I think, for the shoe of choice. But I thought the Street Fly 2 is just a bit too aggressive for me and it might me go off just a bit too quick. So maybe these will help to rein me in. But I'll get a good idea after these intervals, which hopefully will be about 35, 36 if I can do them right. Okay, one down, about 34. Okay, another 34. Obviously it's the same downhill one, but anyway, pleased with that. I think I'll continue the theme going downhill. It's slightly not as steep, now more flat I would say. Anyway, good stuff. Okay, 4 down. Yeah, another 34, so feeling good. So I realised in all my excitement here, I didn't actually talk about the shoes. Well, I think the interesting thing about this shoe, I don't know whether it actually has any effect or not, but this plate actually extends past your toes. I think it's part of the reason why it feels like these are really long on first putting on. You feel like you've got almost too long a shoe, but I've actually had to tie down the laces quite a lot now, so it's a very snug fit. This is like vapor weave on the Vaporfly 1, so very familiar hugging sensation, especially if you've got narrow feet. If you've got wide feet, then well, maybe you might be okay because this thing wraps around your foot. So it's not like a more traditional upper where it's like if it's too big, or it's too small, it's too small. This kind of wraps around, and you can use the laces, obviously traditional laces, to get yourself a nice lockdown. And I feel like I've then got a nice long shoe with like plenty of room at the front here, but it's locked in, so it's not moving around. In that sense, it feels actually quite sort of like normal in a way. There's virtually no sort of like arch support or anything under here, which I thought would be a problem, but when you're actually running along, it feels like more traditional shoe than say the Adios Pro 4 or the Endorphin Elite 2, those ultra soft, ultra high stack shoes, which are almost verging on the point of being unstable. I think with this thing, it's sort of a nice compromise between being firm but not too firm. And this sort of sensation at the front, you do feel like you are getting something back. It's obviously a bit difficult in 200-meter sprints because I'm then really just using my sort of like sprinting power, memories of old, to get down the road as quickly as possible. But yeah, it certainly did feel like in the shoe I was doing well. Outsole wear, well, it's not too bad. That was mainly a road run and just a very little bit of off-road bit I had to do just to get off one little bit, but other than that, it's okay. You can see this is definitely is a road racing shoe. They have quite a slick outsole, and if you've got any concerns about cornering or that, well, I'd advise just go slowly. Obviously you're going to get some sort of discolouring here, but these are shoes I think to be worn in races or your fast sessions, and other shoes are available for plodding along around the block, so that sort of thing, or towpaths, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm very pleased with these shoes. And I would say, yeah, whether they have taken over the Vaporfly 1 has been my favourite. I think it's more to the point that they are a new shoe, and you feel like you should be trying the latest and greatest rather than a shoe that was now 6 years old, and I can't keep using that forever, can I? And one day this shoe will have to be better than the Vaporfly 1. This is 20 grams lighter, at least 20 grams lighter in my size UK 13, so that's a good start for a start. You really do feel like you've got not much on here. Compared to the Street Fly though, they are more of a shoe, but they are, I think, a shoe designed to go up to the marathon. So in that sense, you feel like you need a bit more under you. And I think certainly if I was to go for a longer race, then the Street Fly 2 would be the last shoe I want to use. I mean, it's a toss up between using this and the Street Fly 2 for the 5k, but just feel like I'm slightly more in control with this shoe. When I used the Street Fly 2 at the Baltimore Mile, I felt like I went off like a lunatic because they were so light and felt like almost like bare feet almost, like feel like nothing on, especially going sockless. So in that sense, I thought like just hold back a bit, Tim, on Tuesday and see if I can actually warm into the actual race. Got my friend Phil York, who's bound to go off too quickly. So I think the idea we were to try and follow him, almost the opposite of what John Broome does with me. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But Phil's in great form actually. A Vet 60 has been in best form he has been for a long time. And yeah, you could well beat me. So we'll have to see. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. Like and subscribe to that. And see you next one then. Bye. Oh, and before I forget, shout out to Andy FOD Runner, who seems to have now got half of my shoes, and he's now probably put holes in all of them as well. But he did actually manage to get his own pair of these in the new bluish colour, which seems to be out for like a split second and they're all gone again. So yeah, I don't know what Puma are doing really. Puma have always been just really hard to get hold of, and they had massive hype for this shoe, didn't they, during Boston and London, and now they're basically not making any. So yeah, not quite sure what they're really trying to achieve there. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's just really annoying when people want the shoes and can't get them. I think this is the real deal though. So unlike say the Evo SL, which I think was more hype than substance, which is why I go to Andy, I think these really are worth getting a hold of, but maybe not the StockX prices of £500 just yet. I'm sure more will be available soon. Okay, session done. I think it was fastest was a 33, slowest was a 35, and all the rest 34. So take that average of 34. I also find it hard to believe I used to run these in 25 on the track, mostly in spikes. But yeah, that's as fast as I've been for a long time, I think, probably this year. So we'll just do a little warm down now before it gets completely dark, and then yeah, call it a day. See how we go on Tuesday. Anyone else racing? I know my friend Phil is. Might see Joseph there though. Been injured for a bit, hasn't he? So I hope you get better soon, Joseph. And people like Mark Tennyson, I'm sure, will be there. So we'll get a bit closer to them than normal. People like Terry Booth as well. All right, so I hope you find this interesting. Like and subscribe for that. See you next one then. Bye. And this is back lane. Not surprisingly, because it's a back lane. All right, let's see where it goes. Okay, Lasham Airfield behind us. So let's have a quick look at the Garmin Connect stats here. And I managed to pick up the new 570 and the new HRM 600. So yeah, they seem to be working quite well. Quite a late session, this one. I did this at about 9:30, but that's one of the advantages of being now into June, that you can do these ones quite late. Heart rate there, only 200 reps, of course, not going to get too high. I think it barely took it into the 140s there. And I did a fairly long warm down after having done the 4 miles to start with. If we have a look at the intervals here, Garmin's Connect seems to show them to 0.1 of a second. On the watch they have them to 100th of a second. I suppose officially hand times they should be to the nearest 0.1 anyway, shouldn't they? So yeah, I think there's an element here that's quite short reps, so it's good to see like a 4 something split on the speeds, admittedly only 200 meters, and the ascent and descent there. I thought if anything these were slightly downhill. It seems to be more giving me a slightly uphill version, but yeah, again, perhaps it's so quick to react. Cadence there in sort of the mid 190s, and the highest one there was the last one, 198, which I felt was the one I was trying the hardest on, but it didn't quite was the fastest rep. The fastest one actually was the third one to the nearest 100th, although the second and third they were exactly the same. And good to see 3 at 33 and 1 at 34, and then 2 rounded up were probably closer to 35 than 34, but we'll say they're 34 something. And have a look at the ground contact time balance. Some people said I was being a bit over to the left. I think at this speed, where I really are dancing along the ground, as it were, it was all pretty even. Stride length there was quite impressive, up to about 180, 175. That's always good to see. And the FOD Rainer type stride lengths there for sure. Vertical oscillation, sort of in the mid-8s there, 7.8 on the last one. Normalized power, yeah, well into the 400s there. Again, I don't really read too much into Garmin power, especially such as short durations. So yeah, all in all, a good session, but can I do any good on Tuesday in the 5K?